What if the road you're driving on right now has already decided where you'll end up? What if every mile you pass is just the same mile wearing a different face? I'm a truck driver, and I've trusted roads more than people for most of my life. Roads are supposed to be honest. They go forward. They lead somewhere. But one night, in the middle of a routine haul, the highway stopped behaving like a road and started acting like a trap. The signs repeated. The miles folded in on themselves. Time froze. And the worst part wasn't being lost. It was realizing the road knew I was lost. If you're listening to this late at night, especially if you're driving, pay attention to the signs you pass, because sometimes the road isn't taking you somewhere new. Sometimes it's just making sure you never leave. I've been a truck driver for 19 years, coast to coast. Snow, desert, mountains. Nothing scares me anymore. I know how isolation sounds. I know how fatigue lies to you. That night wasn't either. I was hauling electronics from Flagstaff to Amarillo, a run I'd done dozens of times. Smooth road, empty stretches, peaceful if you like being alone. Around 1:40 a.m., I passed a green highway sign with peeling paint that read Westfield, 12 miles. I remember it because the sign was crooked, like someone had hit it years ago and never bothered to fix it. 10 minutes later, I passed the same sign again. Same dent, same rust, same bullet hole near the bottom. My first thought was I'd missed an exit and looped back somehow, but the GPS showed a straight line, no turns, no ramps, just forward. I laughed it off, took a sip of coffee, and kept going. 12 minutes later, there it was again. Westfield, 12 miles, my stomach tightened. I slowed down, checked the mile marker, mile 114. I just passed 114 less than 15 minutes earlier. That's when the radio crackled. Not music, not static, just a soft click, like someone pressing a button. I reached to adjust it, and a voice came through, low, calm, and way too close. You already passed here. I slammed the radio off. The silence afterward felt heavy, like pressure on my ears. The road ahead looked identical to the road behind me. Same bends, same dead trees, same reflective paint lines shining back at my headlights like eyes. I told myself to stop at the next rest area, clear my head, splash water on my face. The GPS said one was 5 miles ahead. I drove 5 minutes past, 10, 15, no rest area, just another Westfield, 12-mile sign. This time someone had scratched something into it. Letters, uneven and deep. I didn't slow down enough to read it clearly, but my brain filled it in anyway. Don't stop. My hands were sweating now, gripping the wheel so hard my fingers hurt. I checked the fuel gauge. Still full. It shouldn't have been. I'd been driving for hours. The clock on the dashboard blinked and reset itself to 2:17 a.m. I tapped it. It stayed. The road dipped slightly, just enough that my headlights cut across something standing on the shoulder. A man, tall, still, facing away from me. I felt a jolt of relief so sharp it almost hurt. Another human meant rules still applied. I slowed down, rolled my window a crack, and flashed my lights. He didn't move. As I pulled alongside him, my headlights caught his face in the side mirror. He was smiling, but his eyes weren't focused on me. They were looking ahead, at the road, like he knew where it went. I sped up. My heart was hammering now, every instinct screaming to keep moving. A mile later, I passed him again. Same man, same position, same smile. This time, he was facing me. I didn't look twice. I couldn't. The radio turned on by itself. Same voice as before. You're doing it right, it said. Most people stop. I shouted into the empty cab, asking who was there, what they wanted. The voice didn't answer. It just breathed. The road narrowed. Not visibly, but I felt it. Like the world was closing in a fraction at a time. My mirrors started showing things that weren't behind me. Headlights that vanished when I turned my head. Shadows sitting where the sleeper should have been. The GPS stopped showing distance and started repeating the same instruction over and over. Continue straight. No matter how long I drove, it never updated. My phone had no signal, but the screen kept lighting up with notifications from no one. Blank alerts, dozens of them, each one vibrating against the dashboard like a heartbeat. I tried turning around. I swear I did. I took a hard left onto what should have been a service road. The truck bounced, tires screaming for a second, and then I was back on the highway. Same lane, same direction, same Westfield sign ahead of me, closer now. The letters were clearer. Don't stop driving. My throat felt dry and tight, like I hadn't breathed properly in minutes. That's when I noticed the odometer. It wasn't counting miles. It was counting down. The man appeared again, but this time he was standing in the middle of the road. I hit the brakes without thinking. The truck screeched to a halt. Silence slammed into me. No engine noise, no wind, no insects, nothing. The man walked toward my cab, slow and deliberate. His feet didn't make a sound. His face looked wrong up close, like it kept trying to settle into a shape it remembered but couldn't quite hold. He tapped on my window gently, like a polite knock on a door. I shook my head, mouthing no, begging without sound. His smile widened. The radio exploded with noise, not sound, voices, dozens of them overlapping, whispering the same thing. You weren't supposed to stop. The seatbelt tightened around my chest, crushing the air out of me. The truck lurched forward on its own, dragging the man under the wheels. I screamed, sobbing, but when I looked in the mirror, there was nothing there. No body, no blood, just the road, stretching endlessly ahead. I don't remember how long I drove after that. Time stopped meaning anything. The sky never changed. The clock stayed at 2:17. The fuel never dropped. Eventually, the signs disappeared. The road straightened. My GPS flickered and showed movement again, real movement. When the sun finally rose, I was parked on the shoulder of a highway in Oklahoma, shaking so hard I couldn't stand. State troopers found me an hour later. They said my truck was cold, like it hadn't been running all night. They said there was no Route 491 where I described it. No Westfield, no mile 114. I quit driving a week later, sold the rig, tried to forget. It almost worked. Almost. Until last night. I was driving home from the grocery store, took a back road to avoid traffic, and there it was. A green sign with peeling paint, slightly crooked. Westfield, 12 miles. I didn't slow down. I didn't blink. And I swear, just for a second, my radio breathed back.